Welcome into One-on-One on OSU Student Radio KXCY, Sunlink Channel 112. We are live on Facebook and YouTube from Studio 318 here on the beautiful campus of Oklahoma State University. I'm Reed Spencer with my co-host Logan Mosier. How are you, Logan?
I'm good, man. It was a good weekend. Cowboys won. It was a good weekend. The NBA's back, almost.
Almost back. LeBron appeared in the purple and gold. The Lakers jerseys are back to what they should have been.
Showtime. It's weird. Like, they were saying it on TV last night. It's weird to see LeBron wear those. And we'll talk about that later on at the end of the show. But it was just – it was weird.
We're going to get into the NBA at the bottom of the hour, but I want to ask you a quick question. Do you know what number LeBron James wears in practice?
6.
The Los Angeles media did not know that.
That's what he's always worn in practice.
They did not know. They were clueless. So if you know, of course, you pay a lot of attention, but they're like –
so should they. It's their
job.
They
are professional NBA reporters, and they had no clue.
That's weird. I didn't know.
Yeah, they asked him, and he's like,
6?
I've always worn this. So let's get our college football recap, and we'll get into Oklahoma State in the segment. Not a ton to talk about from Lawrence. They won by 20 points. It is what it is. So we'll get into Alabama. Alabama was up 49-0 at halftime.
They were. I think they were 50-point favorites, and they almost covered that by halftime. That's insane.
Yes, to Nick Saban's credit, he does not run up the score. They could have beat Louisiana 200-0. Seriously. And to their credit, I get it was Louisiana, but a dominating win. Georgia took care of Tennessee, as we all kind of expected. Tennessee is not very good.
Yeah.
But the interesting news or the story from college football this weekend was number 3 Clemson.
That was a close game. That was a good game.
Down all game, they come back with their now second string quarterback to beat Syracuse, who's a very good team. But Trevor Lawrence leaves the game with a head injury in the second quarter, which would not be it'd be a big story. But the fact that Kelly Bryant had just transferred, so they were effectively on their third string, and they relied on that guy. Well, I believe his last name was Bryce, come in and win the game. Now, people are like, oh, my God, a third string. He was like a 4-star stud out of high school. He could be starting at a lot of places. But that was a nightmare scenario for Dabo Swinney and Clemson.
I agree. And, I mean, good for Kelly Bryant. It's a good thing he decided to transfer, last week. And good thing he didn't try to, think it out and, see if he could win the job back. Because he would have lost his chance. He would have been going in this week.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, I think Clemson it's either Clemson or Georgia. They have so many good quarterbacks that have been coming in the past couple of years. It's not a problem that they had to go to their third string. I thought they were going to lose this game, though. Like you said, down most of the game and came back in the fourth quarter. And, man, that was one of the best games this weekend.
Yeah, had to convert on a 4th down late in the game to go and win. Their defense held up on that last drive. Now we're going to get into the top 10 matchups, probably the biggest games of the weekend. Ohio State pulled out over number 9 Penn State, 27-26. They were down, came back, got down again, and came back. I want to ask you something. Why in the world did they run that play on 4th and 5?
Dude, I don't know.
Why?
That play, and we'll talk about this probably in the next segment, but the Colts going for it on 4th down, those were the two most head-scratching, what are you doing plays of the whole weekend?
I could somewhat understand Frank Reich's thinking behind that one, somewhat. But this one,
I mean, there are no words.
I mean, they had to convert that.
Yeah.
They were probably going to win the game if they convert that. They were going to have a field goal if they could keep marching. Obviously, a lot of things can happen, but what the heck are you doing? If you're going to run the ball, put Trace McSorley out in space. You don't have Saquon Barkley. That was a head-scratcher. It was a bad play call. And they deserve to be criticized for it. There is wanted posters all over Penn State this morning over trying to find Trace McSorley.
Let me ask you something. Who did this game tell you more about? Did it tell you more about how good Ohio State is, or did it tell you more about Penn State and who they are?
It told me more about Ohio State because Ohio State scratched and found a way to win because they kept making mistakes. And they are the better program right now and finding a way to win. I don't care. They didn't play as well as Penn State, and they still found a way to win. They didn't perform well most of the game, but when it really mattered, they put together drives and got a stop at the end of the game. So it was a close game. Unfortunately, they're in the same division.
Yes.
So they can't meet again in the Big Ten championship game. But Ohio State's very good. Dwayne Haskins, for being as young as he is in an environment like that, to play that way was really impressive.
Is he the best Ohio State quarterback they've had
in
the past 10 years?
Well, J.T. Barrett deserves a lot of credit for his ability to run and do the things that he did, but as far as pure talent, Dwayne Haskins is probably the best Urban Meyer's had in Columbus.
Is he on your Heisman list?
Not yet. Not yet, but we're only...
Yeah, it's week 4, 5.
Honestly, I don't know that I could assemble a Heisman list right now. I mean...
It's pretty early, but I mean, I think I've kind of got a short list. You know, Tua...
Yeah.
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, boo.
I mean...
Yeah, but he deserves it.
His numbers.
6 touchdowns yesterday, or he had 7 by him. You know, he accounted for 7, which is an OU record tied with Baker Mayfield, who lost yesterday, by the way. But we'll get into that as well. Yeah, probably Tua and Kyler, because who else is...
And Tua doesn't even play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like, Alabama's so good, they don't need him to play in the fourth quarter.
Or the second half.
Yeah.
He hasn't played in a lot of second halves. But speaking of the Sooners, they pulled away from Baylor 66-33, as we talked about. Kyler Murray is 17-21, 432 yards, and accounted for 7 touchdowns. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. I think he's kind of picked up most of the slack for losing Robbie Anderson. Not like he had to pick up a bunch of slack anyway. That offense is super talented, but
when he gets in space, he's a nightmare.
Dangerous.
He's a nightmare.
Thank goodness he's going to play baseball at the end of this year, and he's not going to be around the Big 12 much longer.
Yeah, but they still have Austin Kendall, which, as OU does, they just reload and reload.
Yeah.
Number 7, Stanford, went to South Bend and got dominated.
Yeah.
38-17. I think we kind of figured out that the Pac-12's weak and a joke. People can say that about the Big 12 because the Big 12 beats themselves up and haven't been able to perform on the big stage. But the Pac-12's a joke. Seriously. Oregon beat up on Cal. Stanford came back to beat Oregon. Washington got beat by Auburn. The Pac-12 does not terrify me at all.
Yeah.
UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State, USC, they're all bad. And when Stanford went out to play Notre Dame annihilated them. That's what we learned. The Pac-12 isn't very good.
Yeah. So what does that tell you about Oregon? Because, you know, like you said, last week Stanford went in there and won a game against Oregon, and we both kind of thought like they shouldn't have won that game, or at least they shouldn't have gone to overtime.
Well, I mean, Oregon's super talented. They're coming off a bad couple of seasons, and they've got a really good coaching staff, but they're with the money that they have behind that program and what they've been able to do, I think that Oregon's going to be back in the top 10. Maybe not this year, but in the next couple of years, they will be there. And your Michigan Wolverines had barely, over a bunch of smart guys from Northwestern, barely won.
Man, I hate to bring this up every time we talk about Northwestern, but their list of alumni is very impressive.
Yeah.
It's most of ESPN.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
So Michigan pulled that one out. Kentucky won. They won't win in at College Station.
That's what you say every week, though.
And it's not. They're not. Listen, I've been wrong on Kentucky so far. They are not going into College Station and winning.
All right.
I will be. First of all, how Mark Stoops still has a job tells you that Kentucky doesn't care about their football program. They don't, because Mark Stoops has been awful for a decade. He has done nothing impressive at Kentucky.
Well, this season.
I believe they started off 5-0 before, and it did not end well.
So do you think they're 17th right now? Do you think that's too high?
No, they deserve it right now, but they're going to go to College Station and get smacked by an elite coach by a bunch of elite athletes. If they go into College Station and win, they will earn my respect. Okay, so
get ready for next Monday, everyone. Reed is going to have respect for Kentucky. I'm calling it. They're going into College Station and going to win that game. I don't even have to wait to Friday to pick that.
Okay, well.
I'm on the Kentucky bandwagon.
We'll get to that. Oregon pulled out a victory.
Yes.
Virginia Tech showed us Duke's just a basketball school. Dan Mullen goes into Mississippi State and gets a win. That was a big win for Dan Mullen because, leaving the kids that he recruited in relationships, that was a big win for Dan Mullen.
And we kind of both had that the other way. We both kind of thought those kids were going to be, more scoring and want to get revenge on.
Yeah, maybe not. If they are able to beat Kentucky last week, maybe maybe they do have a different game.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of a nightmare scenario for Mississippi State. By the way, Nebraska, first time th've ever fallen to 0-4.
That's insane.
Yeah. Texas Tech's falling out of the top 25 because...
Thank goodness.
Yes. They got beat by West Virginia 42-34, got dominated in the first half, found a way to come back with a second-string quarterback. Now on their third string. Alan Bowman still in the hospital with a collapsed lung. Hope he gets better, obviously. That was a big game, and Texas Tech is back to 3-2.
Yeah, and I think last week I predicted West Virginia was going to put up 70 by themselves. They put up 28 in the first quarter. My prediction was going strong, and then they scored 7 points in the second half. So
when I was looking at that score, I thought they were going to.
I thought it was going to be just total dominant. I thought it was going to be like that Alabama score where they're up like 49 at half.
I certainly thought so. But that was a good game. I think Texas Tech, honestly, they're a different team than they have been, but I believe they have Kansas. They're going to win their next 2 games and get to 5-2. So Texas Tech is better. I don't think they're as good as they think they are.
Yeah.
But they will get there. Texas, go ahead.
With TCU struggling the way they are, I just want to know your thoughts about West Virginia. Are they the de facto number 2 in the Big 12 now?
Now, yes. Now they are. But it's between OU and West Virginia.
Yeah.
And that game isn't until...
It's the last game of the season, and then the Big 12 Championship's the next week. So
which the Big 12 Conference is not very happy with the scheduling right now because they could be playing each other back-to-back weeks. And if OU goes to West Virginia, that last game in November, no, they're fine with losing it because no one wants to tip their hand because it's going to go down to what happens
in the Big 12
next
Championship.
Week.
Yeah.
So that will be a weird game to watch if it plays out like we all think it is.
For sure.
Texas finds a way to get over Kansas State. We've talked about how no matter how bad they are, it's tough to go into Manhattan and beat K-State. Like you said, TCU beat Oklahoma State's next opponent, Iowa State, by a field goal late in the game. Now let's talk about Oklahoma State's game over Kansas. Did you learn anything, or are you still sitting here lost with this program?
I'm still lost because what I really learned was Kansas is still Kansas football. They started off hot, but we hung up 41 on them, and we couldn't do
48-28.
Yeah, we couldn't hang up half that against Texas Tech. So I mean, I don't know what it is with this football team. Like I'm still just totally lost.
Justice Hill has to run the ball 31
yes.
times.
And I was happy to see Justice get more than, I think his max this season was 15 before this game. I was happy to see him get the carries he needs because, I mean, that's what we need to be successful, I think, is to run it through Justice and then, hit the receivers. As the passing game should be a consequence of the run game. Like, people should be so scared of the run game, we can throw it to Tylan Wallace or Tyron Johnson downfield and burn guys that way. It's not going to be the other way around like it has been where, Mason's the plan of attack is through the air and Mason's slinging it around to James Washington all over the place. That's just not what we are anymore.
Were you comfortable with seeing Taylor Cornelius? Listen, you and I could probably go out there and complete at least one deep ball in Kansas. They are that bad. They are not a good secondary. And our guys were behind them every single time. And Taylor completed most of them, threw it, an interception on one, and underthrew. He underthrew Landon Wolf on the first touchdown.
Yes.
But Landon Wolf had beaten the guy so bad
he had time to catch
that he could slow down and catch it. But did you like seeing them? They knew that they could complete these passes on Kansas. Did you like that, to see them go deep on them?
Yes, I did, because that's something we hadn't seen it all year, and I was happy to see that.
Well, we do have to take a quick break. We're done with college football, at least until Wednesday, when we're going to go all over this Oklahoma State game with Robert Allen and look ahead to Iowa State. But we do want to thank another one of our sponsors at Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSHA Tune Radio KXUY, Suddenlink Channel 112.
The future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to One on One on OSU Student Radio KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112. We are live from Studio 318, live on Facebook and YouTube as well. I'm Reed Spencer, joined by my co-host Logan Moser. I can see him smirking out of the corner of my eye because Mitch Trubisky, the system quarterback of the week, had a heck of a game. And we're going to get into him when we talk about fantasy performers once we go over the games that we predicted.
Okay.
He did have a good game, but let's start with the Ravens and Steelers. The Ravens beat the Steelers 26-14 in Pittsburgh last night. Are you concerned about the Steelers?
Yeah, I am. You know, last week we kind of said they'd figured it out. They missed Le'Veon Bell and something else. Something is not right with this team.
Their head coach,
their
quarterback, defense, everything.
Yeah. I mean, Antonio Brown skipping a practice. Like, it's more drama than usual in Pittsburgh. Usually you don't see all the drama until the postseason and that kind of stuff. This is starting early, and it's ugly. Like you said, we both picked the Steelers to win that game. I think the Ravens are in sole possession of first in that division. Are the Bengals
tied with the Bengals?
I was about to say
3-1.
So the Bengals won last week as well, so we're still tied there. But yeah, it's not looking good for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the Bengals are on a crash course to go 11-5 and lose in the wild card. So that's going to be fun.
Man, did you see that Bengals-Falcons game?
I saw more of it than I wanted to see.
I watched like the last couple minutes in overtime of that game. That was insane.
Unfortunately for Tyler Eifert, a gruesome injury. He's fought back. Yeah. That's disappointing. So, unfortunate for Tyler Eifert. But let's talk about the Browns and the Raiders. A lot of overtime games yesterday.
I thought we were going to get more ties.
No ties, thank the Lord. You know how I feel about ties. The Raiders and John Gruden get their first victory.
As I predicted.
Yeah, his first win in a decade.
Yeah.
They beat the Browns 45-42 in overtime. Baker Mayfield, 21 of 41, 295 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 2 interceptions. Were you impressed with Baker yesterday?
Not as much as I thought I would be. I mean, I knew he'd go out there and lead the team, and I knew he'd be pretty good. This is a nice pass right here. It gets picked off.
Yeah, right across left field.
But, I mean, Baker almost had a butt fumble moment. I think it's in this highlight reel right here, but he fumbles a snap, and he runs into the center's butt. So it's not quite as bad as Mark Sanchez, but
Nothing will ever be as bad as Mark Sanchez.
No. But Baker Mayfield's clearly the guy to go with. When was the last time the Browns hung up 42?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. And, they didn't win, and he had a couple costly turnovers, but he's just a rookie, and I think he's only going to get better, you hope.
The number 1 overall pick has not won a start since David Carr in 2002. There, you're seeing that.
Yep.
And Hugh Jackson talked about it after the game. The Browns are good enough to turn that point where stupid stuff like that can't cost them a game.
Yeah.
They can't make those mistakes. I was impressed with Baker. I thought he played really well, but he played the Oakland Raiders.
Right.
So Baker's just going to get better, but also the scheming for him is going to get more intense. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Xavier Sam is down to 1-3 as they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-12 yesterday.
Yeah, and like we said last week, that's not a defense you want to play after he had that horrible game the week before, after playing, what was it, 2 or 3 games in 11 days, something like that.
Right, yeah, 3 games in 11 days, and it was unfortunate. Sam Darnold is going to be better than he is now, but it has not been a good season for him so far. And the Patriots finished September 2-2.
There you go.
What did we say, Logan?
That's what happens. Like, the Patriots always start slow, and everyone's like, it's over. The sky is falling. It's over.
Yeah.
But then they go play the Dolphins, and like everyone's like, oh, yeah, the Patriots
are
good.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Did anyone really think that the Miami Dolphins, who haven't been good since Don Shula, really thought that those guys and their teal and orange were going to come up to New England and beat a Patriots team who was trying to prove something? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think someone said a stat on TV the other day I was listening to. Tom Brady has not lost to Miami at home since like 2002 or something like that. He's like 1-17 against, or 17-1 against them, which is insane. They own the Dolphins, which is probably the jump start they needed. Gronk didn't have a great game. Still, I think only 44 yards, no touchdowns. He got his first target in the red zone last week, which kind of spells a little bit of an issue. Gronk only been targeting in the red zone once in 4 weeks.
That's an interesting situation with the trade and everything going on there. I expect he will be there at some point.
Sony Michel had a good game, though.
Yeah, on my bench, by the way.
Nice. I thought you traded him to Anissa.
No, I have 3 leagues.
Oh, okay. You have a problem.
I do have a problem.
Playing too many leagues.
I do. It's hard for me to say no when people ask. The Titans beat the Eagles in overtime 26-23.
This was a crazy game.
Yeah, another overtime game. There was a ton of them yesterday. And we'll talk about Frank Reich after we get done with the Bears and the Bucs.
Okay.
So this game in Chicago has 2 quarterback headlines.
It does.
Let's start with Tampa Bay, because Fitzmagic is over.
It is.
It is over. And we both said, and I think everyone we were right. You have to start him as long as he was playing as well as he did.
Yeah.
Well, he fell back to reality. He is the Ryan Fitzpatrick that we've all seen over the last 8 years.
He went to Harvard. Did you know that?
I did know that. Thank you. A fun fact of the day. He went to Harvard, and he also sucks.
He's not a starting quarterback.
No.
He's a good backup, but like I said last week, they were looking for an excuse to put Jameis Winston in there. Ryan Fitzpatrick goes out there, has a terrible first half. You see Jameis Winston in the second half, and I think it's his job going forward.
Yeah, Jameis Winston named the starters today. He is. I don't have faith in Jameis Winston.
I don't either.
I don't think they're going to be that much better. And I say Ryan Fitzpatrick sucks. He's just not an elite starting quarterback. He had a great couple games, but he's shown flashes throughout his career, and then he goes back to what we all.
It's kind of like
know
Case
him
Keenum.
as. Yeah. Well, I'd put Ryan Fitzpatrick a little bit above Case Keenum, just a little bit. If you put Ryan Fitzpatrick on that Vikings team last year, I think that you have.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Nick Foles, not Case Keenum.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
be careful who you compare to Case Keenum. It's almost an insult in some books. But the other headline is.
Say it.
Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Listen. He's in a great offense.
He is. Great defense.
He didn't put up 50 points in our league.
No, but do you remember what you said last week?
What did I say?
We have it. If we can get that, we have Reed talking about Mitchell Trubisky last week. There we go. I've been saying this ever since. Mitchell Trubisky's going to go out and get me like.
I don't know what we're saying.
Yeah, that's how I have to think about it, Reed. Okay, I have to justify it somehow.
Don't justify it with Mitchell Trubisky and going to get you 50 points.
Okay, he'll get me 40.
Listen, I've said a lot of things that I've had to retract. Texas is back. I was a little bit wrong on that one. May come true. I said Kentucky wouldn't win. What else have I said that didn't come true on this show? A lot of stuff. I have never, ever in my life been more confident to say Mitchell Trubisky will never, ever, ever get 50 points in fantasy football. I said he would never score 50 points in fantasy
And you were technically right, but I knocked it down to 40 after I said he'd go get me 50, and he went and got me 43. So
against the Bucs bad team, he had a really good day yesterday.
He did. 6 touchdowns.
Really good.
I'm not going to lie. I stumbled backward into a good situation at quarterback. I sat Jared Goff, played Mitch Trubisky.
Thank the Lord that I was playing the Catoosa Goofs because otherwise I got 0 points from Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
0, and I still won by 30.
Do you want to go into top performers for fantasy real quick?
Yeah, I do. But
Okay.
But I do want to say really quick, I don't think that Mitchell Trubisky is an elite quarterback in the National Football League. Yesterday was an anomaly. Seriously. I think he's good, but he's not worthy of where they picked him, and he's never going to be an elite guy in this league. He's in a great system with Matt Nagy, and they're rolling right now. They may win the division and get to the playoffs, but I'm not going to lose sleep over not having Mitchell Trubisky as my quarterback.
Same. Well, actually, I might. I don't know.
Well,
the Broncos
yeah,
are in a
you
rough
would.
situation, but
You might
I
bring
like you
Ryan
said
from the camera back there and be more comfortable with him as your quarterback.
maybe.
I'm pretty sure he's taller than Case Keenum. I'm
Yeah.
almost positive that he's taller than Case Keenum. But let's get into these top fantasy performers.
Mine was Mitchell Trubisky for quarterback. Like I said, 43.5 points, 6 touchdowns. He got it done for me.
He's my fantasy performer as well.
There we go.
Yes. I was wrong on the fantasy aspect of things. He didn't hit 50 in our league, but he was phenomenal yesterday, and he won people a lot of games yesterday.
I still think I'm going to lose, by the way. But my running back for the week was James White out of New England. He seemed to take it over. I said Sonny Michel had a good game. I think he had a better game as far as fantasy points go. So I don't know. If you're looking at quarterbacks in New England, it's kind of been inconsistent. I think James White might have taken a step ahead of Sonny Michel.
I will go with Alvin Kamara for the New Orleans Saints. Yesterday against the Giants, 36.1 points. He was phenomenal, had a touchdown to put the game away. He's almost like a slot receiver that plays running back.
Yeah.
He is so athletic and so good. So 36 points there. He is my top running back of the week.
Who was your top wide receiver?
DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah.
22.9 points in the win over the Colts, which went right down to the wire, thanks to Frank Reich making a bad decision.
Yeah.
So DeAndre Hopkins had a good game. He's my fantasy performer for wide receiver.
My fantasy wide receiver was Taylor Gabriel, catching 2 of Mitchell Trubisky's 6 touchdown passes, 104 yards, 23.4 fantasy points. If we were in PPR, that'd be 30.4 points because he had 7 catches.
Oof.
That's a good week.
So George Kittle, 18.5 points. Did we both?
I think we both sat him, and he went out and killed it.
Yeah, 18.5 points. They still took the L,
Yes.
the 49ers, but he had a good game from C.J. Beathard. We were wrong on that one.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's more of an anomaly.
I think so.
Yeah.
They may have good games, but they're not going to win.
Yeah.
And we could have went back to hating on the Buffalo Bills because they are still awful, it turns out.
Yeah. Josh Allen had a fluke against Minnesota, it seems.
Yes. So let's get into this game tonight.
Okay.
Your team versus my team. My team is undefeated. Your team is not.
It's 2-1.
But I'm taking the Denver Broncos to win tonight.
Reed, you've picked against them every week, and I know you say it helps them. I'm going to pick against them.
Say it for me,
I'm going to pick against them until they lose, and then be like, that's why I picked against them.
How many times have I picked against them?
3.
And what are they?
3-0.
Why would I stop?
I don't know.
Why would I stop?
And I'm picking the Chiefs because I have picked them 3 weeks in a row, and they are 3-0. So I'm going to pick them until they don't. People say this is a trap game. It's not a trap game. Denver secondary is trash. I think they're 16th or 18th in passing yards allowed.
Not the
Kansas City's going to tear that up.
Not the offense you want to see if you have a bad secondary.
Exactly. And the run game will be easy. I think Kareem Hunt's not going to have that great a game, but
if they can take Von Miller out of it, they'll be all right.
Yeah.
They have to be quick and efficient and step on the Broncos' throat.
They are.
They have to.
They are.
I think it will be closer than you think.
We're going to be I don't think it's going to be close at all.
Well, we have to take a quick break before we get into the NBA and the Ryder Cup. Unfortunately, USA didn't win. Baseball. We've got a ton to get into in the second half of our show, but we do want to thank another one of our sponsors at OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back on One-on-One OSU Student Radio, KXUY, Suddenlink, Channel 112.
my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back to One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio, KXUY, Sunlink Channel 112. As you see right there, USA did not perform well in Paris over the weekend. Europe takes a dub over the Stars and Bars in the Ryder Cup, getting their 6th straight home win. That's all I can say. It's unfortunate. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Phil and Tiger went winless. Patrick Reed.
They're awful in the Ryder Cup, though.
Yeah, they are. They are not very good. Jim Furyk turns out to be an awful captain. Terrible captain.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed is ticked off, which is not unusual.
That's normal.
Yeah, he's pretty
normal
unpleasant
Patrick Reed stuff
most of the time. Yikes.
Yeah, it was not good. And going into the Cup, I think we all read stuff talking about how like the game plan was going to change and all this stuff, and they had come up with a plan. But it seemed as though their plan was to break up the best duo the U.S. has had in the Ryder Cup for a long time.
Yeah.
And that didn't work.
No, it did not work
at all.
Jim Furyk is a bad captain.
Yeah.
He made a lot of mistakes this weekend, and that is why he is the sole reason why Team USA did not win.
Well, I don't want to say the sole reason. Like this Team Europe was obviously
they're good,
stacked.
But who picks this team?
Yeah.
Why did you put? I could understand maybe the Tiger, but why Phil?
Yeah, Tiger and Phil both played a lot.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Maybe we could have Gabe on here, and Gabe could explain why. I mean, he thought that Team USA could win.
Yeah.
I was a little weary the entire time, and my worries came true about this team. They don't like each other.
It does not seem that way.
Has been talking a lot of trash.
Yeah. And it seems most of the problems kind of center around Patrick Reed. You had Jordan Spieth. That's the pairing that had worked so well in previous Ryder Cups. They break them apart, and there's rumors I read on ESPN. Part of it's because Jordan Spieth wanted out. He did not get along with Patrick Reed. And I mean, when you don't get along, do you just tough it out? If you're a captain, do you just make them tough it out, or do you do what you did and break up the pairing?
It's an easy decision to sit here and say, because you still have to be with these guys on tour. Maybe if Jordan Spieth comes to you, you couldn't do anything else. But, I mean, people don't like Patrick Reed, and water's wet. I mean, Patrick Reed's not a nice guy. At least from everything you read about him. He didn't even have his parents when he won the Masters. They lived 2 miles from Augusta National. They were not welcomed. He's had them kicked out of PGA Tour events. No one on the tour likes him, and no one likes his wife. That's how bad it is. They don't like the Reed family. No relation. They don't like him.
Reed, I know you're lying. I heard you talking on the phone to Uncle Patrick out there.
Uncle Patrick. Uncle Patrick, the guy that beat Oklahoma State in the National.
Yeah.
No way. But in all seriousness, everything that you read about, it's hard to read positive things about Patrick Reed.
Yeah, and let's not forget Ricky Fowler kind of struggled in this. No one really did that well.
No, Francisco Molinari for Europe was phenomenal. Went undefeated.
Yeah, 6-0, accounted for most of their points. I'm going to ask you this: is it time for Tiger and Phil to just stop going to the Ryder Cup and maybe try and take on more of like a captain role.
Yeah, this was their last.
Yeah.
This is both of their unless Tiger goes on a run where you over the next 2 years where you can't leave him off. Tiger and Phil just played in their last Ryder Cup, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. Because like we said earlier, they're not super successful in the Ryder Cup. I think going into this, Tiger was like 1-4-2 or something like that. He did not have a very impressive record. And I just don't know, how can you play these guys so much? Like you said, it kind of goes back on the captain. That is not a
Jim
good.
Furyk
Jim Furyk did not make a good decision with the pairings and how much he played guys. Like he played Phil Mickelson after he had already played terrible the whole weekend. He continued to play. Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
They lost 7 points. 7 points, 17.5 to 10.5. That's embarrassing. Bryson DeChambeau was bad. Brooks Koepka wasn't great. Justin Thomas was okay. He beat Rory McIlroy. But maybe the Europe team was just that good. I'm not so sure. Ian Poulter is great.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood had a good, and John Rahm. That Europe team has had a lot of success on the tour and a lot of major wins on the tour. Francisco Molinari over the last 8 months has catapulted into just a golfer from Italy who people couldn't say his name. Francesco Molinari, I can't even say his name, is one of the best in the world now.
He just made his first Masters, I believe, this year. And
then goes on to win a major.
Yeah.
And basically helps Europe, a major part of Europe winning the Ryder Cup. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
But that Patrick Reed stuff is going to just get more and more interesting.
Do you bring him back?
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Okay.
He's a stud in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. I didn't know if he was too much of like a distraction. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that. But
deal with it is what I say to everyone else. He's a jerk, but for 4 days you can deal with it because he didn't get the name Captain America for nothing.
Yeah.
He has helped them win the Ryder Cup before. But we got to wait 2 years, and we'll see where we're at after that. But golf is, they're in their off season now.
Yep.
We're probably not going to talk about golf unless a story about this comes up. We will talk about golf in April when the Masters comes up.
Let's just do a little prediction real quick. Tiger Woods, what's next season like for him? Does he win a major? Does he win another tour tournament? What does he do?
I mean, I think Tiger will get a couple wins next year, and he'll have a couple good majors, but I don't see him. Tiger just has a hard time. Like at Augusta, you can't have one bad phase of your game at Augusta. You just can't. And at the U.S. Open, the course plays so fast. Tiger's just struggling to put it all together. He ended up getting that win at the Tour Championship, but after that, in these majors, when the courses are super hard and 8 under can win you a tournament, Tiger's going to have a hard time putting 4 good days together.
I'm kind of thinking the other way. I've kind of flipped a 180 on the Tiger Woods deal. I think he could win a major. I think if he has a good offseason, gets rested up,
I hope you're right, because if Tiger Woods wins a major,
that's big.
Work's canceled the next day across the country.
Yeah.
Because people will go crazy. Look what they did for him just to win the Tour Championship, who no one cares about.
I think it could happen. I want it to happen, that's for sure, because it's good for golf. It's good for sports.
Yeah, golf needs Tiger, and if you don't believe that, look at the crowds when he won.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Exactly.
So, one of America's oldest games, next to America's pastime. Let's move it on to baseball.
Okay.
It looks like the Brewers probably are going to.
Yep.
In the 163rd game, there's 2 games. People are playing for division championships today. The Brewers are up on the Cubs right now, 3-1 in the bottom of the 9th. So unless the Cubs in the next 20 minutes can rally with 2 outs, they're down to 2 outs, down by 2 runs, and unless something magical happens in Wrigley, it looks like they're going to play the winner of
the loser,
of
Colorado.
Well,
Rockies.
The Cubs will play the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cubs will play the winner of the Dodgers and Rockies, right?
I thought it was the other way. I thought Milwaukee would host. They'll get the 1 seed, and then the wild card game would be between the loser of Rockies Dodgers.
Right. You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They'll play the loser of the Rockies and Dodgers.
Yes.
So we'll see what that game will start. I believe
It's already started. It's top of the first, 0-0.
Oh, yeah. It starts 4 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
We're stuck in the Central. So we'll see there. But you're looking at the AL here. The Red Sox clinched a long time ago.
Yep.
The Yankees and the Athletics will, I believe they play tomorrow in Yankee Stadium. And the Indians and the Astros. I believe I have asked you this before, but what's tomorrow? Who wins tomorrow between
the Yankees and the Athletics?
The Athletics, yes.
I'm taking the Yankees. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I know Oakland's kind of come on towards the end of the season, but the Yankees roster is too stacked.
Yeah, they set a record for home runs this year. By the way, before I forget to talk about it, and we'll get back to the playoff stuff, did you see that arm on the fan at Fenway?
That was impressive. From the Green Monster, like, to second. Is that what it was?
Yeah, he bounced it right at second and hit Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, that was a guy with an arm.
And ironically enough, he's a Braves fan.
Yeah, that was kind of weird to see him at the Red Sox-Yankees game as a Braves fan.
Not so surprised that a Braves fan's there, but more surprised that a Braves fan was so mad that he picked it up and threw it back. He doesn't. They're not even in the same league.
Yeah,
they're in the NL. I didn't get it, but he probably regretted it once he won.
Unless he gets some calls, someone's like, "Hey,
yeah, we've got it.
You want to get on the farm team?"
Maybe the Royals could sign him.
Maybe
the Brewers just won. So the Brewers are NL Central champions. So let's start there in the NL.
Okay.
Who wins the World Series for?
Who wins the pennant in the NL?
Yeah. The pennant. Who makes it to the World Series?
Man. Going into this game, I thought the Brewers were going to lose. That kind of changes my thoughts on everything. I know you're big on the Brewers. They copied the Royals formula from a couple of years ago. It's hard for me to bet against the Cubs. I know they just lost this game, but I'm going with the Cubs. Cubs are going back to a World Series.
So the Cubs win tomorrow.
Yes.
They beat the Dodgers and/or Rockies.
Yes. If they play the Rockies, they're definitely going to beat the Rockies. Like, I'm sorry, David, our cameraman who loves the Rockies. And I mean, I guess I'm a Rockies fan if I have to pick a baseball team. So I just don't believe in the Rockies.
Well, it's hard to believe in a team when they've never won a division title. And maybe that changes today. But when they've been around 25 years and they can't even win a division title.
Did make it to the World Series in 2007, though.
They did, and they got
annihilated.
Smacked by the Boston Red Sox. Maybe the best Red Sox team. That was
until this one.
That team was better than this.
I'm just saying until.
Oh yeah. Since then, this has been the best team the Red Sox have had since that one. I still don't think the Red Sox win the World Series, but in the NL, I'm going to take the Brewers to make it to the World Series.
I understand your logic in that.
They're hot right now, and they have a lot of experience on that team. Christian Yelich, I mean, unless he pulls a Daniel Murphy and just chokes in the playoffs from now on out, I'm going with the Brewers to make it out of the NL.
Who are you going with out of the AL?
The Houston Astros.
Okay.
I think the Yankees win tomorrow, but outside of that, I think it comes down to the Red Sox and Astros, and the Astros are just too good.
See, I'm kind of the other. I think that Red Sox roster is just too good. I think that's the most complete Red Sox roster, like you said, since that 2007 team. I think they're a real deal, and the manager deal. I get your point on that. You mentioned that I think last week or the last time we talked about this race, that a managerial decision can make a big impact, and I agree, especially since the Houston Astros, they were in the World Series last year. I just think this Red Sox team is too good.
If it came down between the Red Sox and the Yankees, you would take the Red Sox.
Yes.
And they've kind of dominated the Yankees. The Yankees kind of pulled close in July, but then the Red Sox really went pedal to the metal, and after that, it was kind of over for the Yankees. But the Yankees are really good.
Do you have the Yankees beating the Red Sox after they beat the A's?
No, I think they'll beat the Athletics, but I think that the road ends there for the New York Yankees. But we do have to take a quick break before we come back and talk about the NBA, Logan's favorite segment.
Yes.
But we do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors at Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. and Unitarian Universalist Church. If you were looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stollard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs, LGBTQ friendly. Services are every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back on One-on-One Ocean Student Radio, KXUY, Suddenlink, Channel 112. Welcome back to One-on-One on Ocean Student Radio, KXUY, Suddenlink, Channel 112, live on Facebook and YouTube as well. We're here in Studio 318, and we're going to be talking about your favorite thing, Logan,
yes,
the NBA. And let's start with the Showtime Lakers.
The Lakers.
The LeBronzo, the Los Angeles LeBronzos, I guess we could call them.
Yeah.
Because apparently Lonzo fixed his shot, and LeVar's not talking a lot of crap, so...
Yet. wait till they go on like a little losing streak. They might start slow. That's when you're going to see LeVar.
Yeah, wait till he gets traded to Portland in mid-December.
There we go. Anyway. Look at that. LeBron in the purple and gold.
Oh.
That is strange as he knocks down a three right here for his first bucket as a Laker.
Oh, yes, and people went crazy out in the preseason game at San Diego. San Diego needs an NBA team.
Yeah, they used to. You can get one of those. You can get the Clippers out of there.
If the Clippers leave, they have to go to Seattle. They have to.
So you're going to expand and go to San Diego?
No. Well, I just think it would be cool to have a team there. I don't even think they will be on the short list, honestly.
No.
If we're looking at New York cities, they couldn't keep their football team, and no one even knows that the Padres exist half the time.
I think the short list is like Seattle, Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas and Seattle, and Kansas City. I think Kansas City would be a much better NBA city than San Diego would.
Yeah, and I think you got to look somewhere like in Canada.
No.
For another team in Canada.
No. Well, you mentioned them, so let's jump into, and I'll explain why now they don't deserve it. Because apparently people in Canada can't use Google, and they can't follow stuff on social media. They're trying to start a documentary on Bryant Reeves. They're trying to find Big Country.
And this has been happening for 2 months, right? Was when we first kind of
all
saw
summer. It's happening. Vancouver Grizzlies fan, I forget what their name, his or her name is. Whatever his or her name is clueless. It's not hard to find the guy.
No,
he's literally right over there, 18 times a year.
Yeah.
He's on Twitter. All you have to do is search Twitter. He did not go missing. He's just not in Canada.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
It kind of seems like everyone from Bleacher Report, that fan, whoever's making the documentary, they don't know that it's just he's at Oklahoma State for every home basketball game, watching his son play. Like, you could Google Big Country or Bryant Reeves, and you would see an article from like the O'Colly or OKState.com or something like that talking about how he's at the game. They cut to him and introduce him literally 3 times a game. It's not that hard. It's a lot of us around here have been having a lot of fun with, just like how ridiculous the premise is that no one knows where Bryant Reeves is. And when he's not here, he's at home.
He retweeted something a week ago. A week ago, he was on Twitter.
And you know, there was something in the article, I think, for the documentary talking about longtime teammate like how do you say his name? Shabdur Ahir Rahim or something like that. I just butchered that. But they're like, yeah, Mike Bibby said we haven't heard from him since he left. We have no idea where he went after he retired.
Because he doesn't want to talk to you, more than likely.
Yeah. And
his son plays at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. We spent too much time on this, but
we had to.
It's a ridiculous idea for a documentary. Like,
I mean, it's a cool he deserves, because he is a great story from a small town in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Who dominated college basketball, went to Final Fours, and made a lot of money in the NBA.
Yes.
But I'm not knocking the idea of a documentary.
Just the fact that you don't know where he is.
Just the fact that you can't find him is you're not working very hard. You're not trying very hard. Because you could call any media outlet in this state and they'd be like, oh yeah, we see him at Oklahoma State games all the time.
But how can you make that's a short documentary, Reed.
Well, do a documentary about him.
Yeah,
not like,
I know what you're saying.
If you're trying to do a documentary on finding him, that's going to be a bad documentary.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, he went back to his hometown. He's here. I don't know him, but I would think he's probably pretty quiet and doesn't love all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he's not hard to find.
Yeah. So let's jump back into the preseason. I'm gonna ask you a question, Reed. Did the Hawks make a mistake in trading away the rights to Luka Doncic for Trae Young?
Duh. Trae Young?
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about you wanted Trae Young, not how good Luka Doncic is going to be, because Luka Doncic is not going to have to be very good to be better than Trae Young.
He's going to be more than not very good. He's going to be
not saying
great.
He's not. I'm just saying
he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to be that good for the Mavs to win that trade.
He's going to be really good. Sadly, we don't have any highlights of that game because it was against like the Beijing Ducks, so no one put up a lot of highlights of that. But 5 for 7 for 16 points, 3 for 4 from 3. He plays the power forward position, and every time he got a rebound, he would take it coast to coast, and he moves kind of like how Chris Webber used to move. He can handle the ball. He has nice handles. He can do it all. He can pass. He can shoot. He can play a little defense. He had a couple of nice blocks. He had let's see how many blocks did he have on the night. 3 blocks. I think they made a big mistake, and people are going to rip them about it for a long time. This might be the worst trade since the Thunder traded away James Harden. That's how bad this trade could be.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Only time will tell. But certainly if Luka Doncic turns out to be a 10-time All-Star, and Trae Young's working at Foot Locker in 10 years, certainly. No, Trae Young's going to be in the league for a long time. I just don't think Trae Young was worthy of how much praise and how high he was picked.
Yeah. That seems to be a theme with guys coming out of OU lately. Baker gets a lot of favorable coverage. Trae Young does, but we'll skip that. Gordon Hayward is back, finally, after the terrible injury last year.
Awful injury.
Yes. He's back. He's playing basketball. He's got a little rusty. He hasn't had a great preseason so far, but what does it mean just to see him back out there with the Celtics?
It's nice to see him because we all and Gordon Hayward got robbed of how good the Celtics were last year and everything that they could have accomplished. They would have been better. They are better with Gordon Hayward out on the floor.
I agree.
He's a really good player. That's why he's in the NBA, Logan.
It's true. But, you're instead of last year's starting lineup, I think you got Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Morris, and Al Horford. You sub out Marcus Morris, move him to your bench, and that's a big upgrade to your bench. And you put in Gordon Hayward. This team is going to be problems going forward. I think they can challenge the Warriors in a playoff series. Everyone's kind of writing them off, and like maybe they get 5. I think they could push it to 6, maybe even 7. But we'll talk about that more as the season goes on. It's definitely good that he's back out there. Because imagine, I saw someone talking about this, and I thought, man, how could you get worse? You know, they traded away Isaiah Thomas after he had that horrible hip injury, played through the death of his sister, and they ship him off for Kyrie. What if they had traded Gordon Hayward for Jimmy Butler? How bad would the Celtics have looked if they had done that?
If they would have traded Jimmy Butler or Gordon Hayward for Jimmy Butler,
what kind of karma is that?
It would not have been good.
Yeah,
it would not have been good. But you know, you look at Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier,
yep.
Scary Terry, who doesn't like that nickname, but wears the shirt.
Yeah.
They have a really good roster, and I think now you can call Brad Stevens the best coach in the NBA.
One of the best coaches.
He's the best coach in the NBA.
One of the best coaches.
He is the best coach.
I'm not willing to surrender that.
Listen, Greg Popovich is one of the greatest coaches of all time, but right now, how many people has Brad Stevens run off?
None yet. He's only coached for... Greg Popovich ran off one guy in like 20 years. One guy
who's, by the way, if we could put like a hot button in here of Kawhi's laugh.
No one needs to hear that. That is a crime against humanity. But I mean, Greg Popovich is still the best coach in the NBA. And then Brad Stevens and Steve Kerr are on that second tier. I'm not ready to surrender that yet.
So you're saying that Brad Stevens is the best coach in the NBA?
One of the best coaches.
That's what I heard.
One of the best coaches.
So we do have to get out of here, but we will be back with Robert Allen, our OSU Insider, on Wednesday to break down Kansas and the Iowa State game. So thank you for watching. We will be back on Wednesday, as I said. Thank you for watching One-on-One on OSU Student Radio, KXUI Suddenlink, Channel 112.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
Casper prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.